Hey, what's up, guys? So, what we have here today is another project sent in by a customer, um, name to be kept, unknown, but just wanted to show you what's going on. I kind of wanted to do one of these things that I get from a customer, because each customer's cart or mini bike is different, so each project I get is different. So I've kind of just been going through them, kind of, just on non-stop, so I figured I'd put out a video. So these are the parts that I've been sent. I was sent a cylinder head. This is for a Gx390. I was sent a carburetor from NR Racing. This is their all-out carburetor. I also make these carburetors the same, and they're relatively pretty much at half price. But what they do is just remove the choke, and then epoxy it, grind and fill it, and smooth all the surfaces in there. There's a couple things about this carburetor that are really good. There's a couple things about it that I don't like. One being the screws that they use and how they protrude out the other side. You could see the tips of the screws on the other side there. Each one of those is going to create their own little drag of air. They're about 40 thousandths each screw. The heads of the screws are pretty thick. So as you can see, all of this is now open. By removing that second butterfly, you actually do pick up some air volume. I haven't tested these carburetors and I don't have a lot of knowledge about them. But that this is a Keen carburetor, and should perform pretty well on the cart that this is going on. Again, I'm going to keep all the names a secret, but this was sent to me. So this is basically in a stock pairing class. So I'm pretty fluent when it comes to open modified and stuff like that. So stock pairing, presents its own challenges. One of those challenges is the carburetor. Stock pairing, it can only get so big. I'm used to just slapping on a really huge carburetor onto a project. So when you're dealing with something that can't be made as big as you want or as big as needed, it presents its own little set of equations and problems to overcome. That's why I wanted to put this on video for all the guys out there that are running stock pairing classes. Something else that was sent to me was the insulator that goes with the carburetor that mounts with the head, and the valves, stainless steel valves. I also got the retainers and springs and keepers. So he picked these parts up from NR Racing. The head he got from Auto Express and sent that to me. There's some stuff that I'm going to do to this head. So the first step to doing any type of modification is to have a game plan. So once you ask all the questions, or if you have all the answers and what size engine this head's going on, the RPMs it's going to live in, the type of use it's going to be used for, is it going to be used as a track racing kart, is it going to be a lot of left and right turns slowing down acceleration, or is it going to be an oval kart where it's just always at wide open throttle, where you're kind of designing it similar to like a drag bike engine. So you would answer all of those questions, knowing what the build is going to be about, and then you'd go to your notes that you have, or I go to the notes that I have on other builds that I've done, and there's equations for everything. There should be other videos you can see of mine on my page. You can see engine optimization, head porting, a bunch of videos on there. The engine optimization, how to select carb size, how to select the perfect cam. Those videos have a lot of information in there. Generating the 5 cycles of a 4-cycle engine. If you go and just pretty much YouTube search anything that has to do with Gx390 performance, those videos should come up. So what I like about this build that I have here is that it's a new challenge to me, and I'm always up to a challenge. Oh, by the way, this past Saturday, I entered that engine that I built, that 460, into the competition at Pierce High School in Quincy, Massachusetts on Saturday, and I did pick up the first place prize, so congratulations to myself, big thumbs up. It was an extremely high horsepower pull, and before I go and state anything, I want to just verify my facts, but I just will let you know it was an extremely powerful pull. So back to this build. So what I'm going to be doing on this build, and what's important to do on every build, is to figure out where the build is going and then select your components. So components that he has to have is a stock appearing carburetor. So he went ahead and he selected the best stock appearing carburetor he could find. Smart choice. So now that we have that, next thing we have to do is travel down the line. So starting at the carburetor, next comes the insulator. So these things obviously interfere with each other, and the way they react with each other has to be noticed, and you have to perform the work needed in those areas. So then this unit here bolts to the head. So once you get down to the cylinder head, you have to kind of get into the realm of, what are you going to do to the cylinder head? Are you going to put a bigger valve? Are you going to put a bigger seat? Are you going to port it? Are you going to put guides? Are you going to, the valve job starts at the guides. So making sure you have a proper clearance between your valve guide and your valve is the start to a proper valve job. So, are you going to cut your multiple angles? So these are all things that are going to get done. So we had talked on the phone about, different options, and he wants to go all out. So we're going to be doing a 5-angle valve job on this. We're going to be doing the intake and exhaust valves. We're going to be doing some back cuts on the valves themselves. We're going to do a stage 3 porting. It's the stock appearing carburetor. So this is a bare bones brand new cylinder head, and so the first thing you want to do is have your game plan. So once you have your game plan, you could start moving forward with your modifications, because now you have a goal. So we know what size engine this is going on, me and the customer, the client, and we're going to be moving towards that goal. My job as a builder isn't to sway him in any way. My job as a builder is to, or him as a customer, shouldn't allow me to sway in any direction. My job as a builder is to make sure he wins races. So I can't allow him to make decisions on the cylinder head that will affect the performance. So I need to know what I'm doing. And one of the best clients I have now are race teams. These are what I definitely want to gear towards, is race teams. So I'm actually offering this head, seeing as though I've never done a stock appearing before. I'm offering this head at a discount. It's just going to be a flat rate, $500, but he's going to get everything: welded chamber, stage 3 porting, epoxy work, reaming and honing the guides to accept the valves, 5-angle port job, the works, polished chamber. So on that level, once you get basically your blueprint written down, the next thing would be to figure out which one. You wouldn't want to cut your 5-angle valve job before you did your welding. So you would need to know how to move forward with this depending upon what you have to do. You can literally run yourself in circles by doing your valve job and then doing your porting and then nick your seat and then have to do the valve job again, and then that, moves the valve, and now your spring install height is off. I mean, you really have to know the process to assembling a cylinder head and building one and creating one in order to come out with the product correct, to get the least amount of work. You can spend 25 hours on a cylinder head if you keep running yourself in circles. So I do cylinder heads that take me 40 hours to do. I mean, if I modify this whole intake port and put a tube in there and run huge seats and stuff like that, it's just extensive amounts of welding and work, reinforcing. So on the heads, what I like to do first is to take care of all the welding, because that causes distortion within the head. So I would do all my welding if the head needed welding. After that, I have here's a set of aluminum burrs. As you can see, they're single cut. They have a big flute, so it can really get rid of the chips. This is a set. I must have maybe 150 different burrs, shapes and stuff. But carbide burrs are a definite need to have, part of any builder's tool set. So after that, you would do the welding, clean it up. After the welding's done and shaped, I usually take a grinder and bring it down close to the head level, not down right to the mating surface. This is going to eventually have to be milled if you weld it, because you have to resurface that. So I would do the welding, clean it up. At that point, I would do the grinding, get it relatively back down to a single plane. And then at that point, I'd probably come in and just cut this first 15-degree angle around each one of the valves, just to tie that valve into the combustion chamber, and knock off this machinist ridge that's on every single cylinder head. There's this huge ridge here. You hear that? I've seen heads as bad as 150 thousandths of a ridge there, and that's just right in the way of the flow. So just making sure you know how to move forward with a build and what your build is going to be is very important. So I just wanted to put this video out there, to show you guys, every build is different. So build the engine that you need for your application. I can't stress that enough. Build the engine that you need for your application. If you're riding your mini bike on the street or you're riding an off-road go-kart, don't build a drag race engine. If your motor's going to be used for different things, make sure you build it specifically what it's for. So that's why I wanted to put this build out there. So let me just thank Eric from OMB Warehouse, John from Ferrea, and all you guys out there in YouTube land that have helped and supported and sent me projects. All the teams I support. One of my clients said to me, he's like, one of your best features and your worst features is the fact that you do such great work, but the worst thing is everybody wants to keep you a secret. So also I had a new, I feel like I officially made it. I had Mini Drag Bike Charles Mosley subscribe to my channel. Charles, thank you. I'm honored. You were definitely my idol from the beginning, so thank you a lot. And I'd love to work with you on a project someday or see you at a competition somewhere. So thanks you guys, and keep on building those engines. So thanks guys, and have a good day.